Hi, hello. Welcome to the episode of Isaiah's Newsstand. It's your host, Isaiah Edwards. The date is June the 8th, 2026. Hopefully this episode finds you well, in good spirits and high hopes. As for me, I'm doing pretty good. Happy Monday, happy Garfield Day, everyone. Hopefully you got that lasagna, maybe a little garlic bread, a little wine to go wash it all down. As for mine, it's been a good day. It's been very lasagna for your boy. We got up. I will say no. Let's start off with, I guess, some of the rough. I didn't necessarily sleep the greatest, but I would say I slept better than I have for a Monday morning, Sunday into Monday morning. It was one of those situations where, like, I went to bed at a good time, so I was really happy about that. But then I woke up, I believe, not once, but twice, because I just had to use the restroom, just drank too much at the end of the night, and, just had to use it. That's very biological, if you will. But still, all the same, it's no fun to have to get up and then just be like, oh, I gotta pee. Shit like that. It's never fun. Also, another thing that was making it weird was I guess I was just anxious, or like something was playing in my head in a way that was making me like upset, but like it wasn't fully revealing itself or something like that. It's hard to explain, but I just was like, something was just on my mind. And every time I was waking up, I was just like unnerved in a way that I was just like, it was hard for me to explain at like 3 something in the morning. And I just want to go back to sleep. So that felt weird to kind of start your day off with that. But I kind of knew that I'm like, hey, look, like, let's just count the hours. We got enough sleep by the number. We're going to be okay. We're going to be all right. So got myself together and we headed off to work. Work overall good. For the most part, I just milked all but maybe 1 hour of the day. And then on the last hour, I went upstairs to just cut down cardboard. I did not want to do put bags if I could help it. And we got there. So that was good. Post work, we went to the gym. And gym was busy, but that makes sense for a Monday. And I would say for Mondays, it wasn't the worst. I even got some time to get on a free bench and do a little bit of dumbbell exercises. Granted, I didn't do my full old routine or anything like that. Just kind of, just throwing some shit around, more or less. Also a bit too, like I was a bit worried because my ankle was hurting from the night prior. I didn't say this, I didn't reveal this on the podcast last night, but I broke a little bit of a rule at the Planet Fitness. I'm something of a bad boy now on my second year at the gym. So what had happened was last night I got to the gym and, I opened up my bag and I, was supposed to have 2 socks, a pair of socks so I could slip into for my Crocs to my shoes and, just do my normal shit. But I realized that I brought one, like a shorter sock, like an ankle sock, and then one long sock. And I'm like, I refuse. I just refuse. I know it's a gym. I know I already look like a chud anyway. It doesn't fucking matter. But like, I refuse to go out looking like that. I would just simply rather go out in my Crocs. And if they ring it on me, if they pull me and they say, you got to switch that up or get out of here, then fine. But it was like 10 o'clock at night. So I was like, I'm going to finally have my first workout in the Crocs. I'm going to be a full fuck boy. I'm going to be a complete little, asshole degenerate Planet Fitness goer and break the rules. And so that's what I did. Okay. I know. I'm such a fucking badass. But, needless to say, that workout went well. Fast forwarding back to now, this workout went well. Yes, I was back in shoes. More or less my ankle feels okay now. So that's good. We were able to get through the whole day. We were able to get through the whole workout. And really, that's all I care about. I'm sure I'll be fine. But needless to say, workout went well. We got done with that. We came home. We had our stretch. We had our snack. We did some research. So pretty much very usual, very back at it, if you will. I would say good day. I will say the only thing I didn't like was it was a bit of a rainy day. But I got lucky. My dear listeners. It like did all the raining while I was at work on the tail end of my shift. And I got out, no rain, just cloudy. And I'm like, hell yeah, we can work with that. Didn't slip, slide, die on the way to the gym or home, so we love that. Once again, knock on some wood, keep that going. But yeah, overall, I would say a good day. So yeah, let's go ahead and do our startup and let's get into some news. Okay. Starting off with a bit of an update from yesterday's episode from CBS News. Philippines earthquake kills at least 35 people, unleashes small tsunami. The death toll from a powerful 7.8 magnitude earthquake in the Philippines rose to at least 35 on Monday, after at least 17 people were killed in a southern Philippine province, mostly due to a landslide set off by the quake, officials said. Rene Punzalan, a disaster mitigation official of the Sarangani province, told DZBB radio network that 13 villagers were killed when a landslide set off by an earthquake hit houses in the mountainous town of Glan. 4 other villagers died in Sarangani for still unclear reasons, he said. This was the strongest earthquake to hit the Philippine archipelago. Hit the Philippine archipelago this year. The quake caused small buildings to collapse and sparked small tsunamis in the southern Philippines and smaller waves that were detected in Indonesia and Palau and as far away as southern Japan. So, I got a pretty big numbers update. I remember I was actually kind of tracking this throughout the day, and initially I'd heard 15. Obviously that's unfortunate, but then to do even more than double, less than just a few hours of just seeing that number, and I would not be surprised, unfortunately, if that number goes up. Also hearing too that there was pretty significant damage, just talking about this landslide and things of that nature. So obviously unfortunate, condolences to the people who lost their lives, whose lives have been completely uprooted, turned upside down from this event. But unfortunately, there is another earthquake that actually happened over the past 24 hours from Reuters. Strongest earthquake in nearly 150 years hits off Cuba, shakes Mexico, Florida. A historically strong earthquake struck off Cuba's northwest coast on Monday, according to official reports, shaking parts of Cuba, Mexico, that are typically not prone to quakes. The U.S. Geological Survey, or USGS, measured the quake at a magnitude of 6.1 at a shallow depth of 26 kilometers, or 16 miles, in its epicenter 104 kilometers northwest of Mantua, Cuba, about 2 to 4 hours by car from the capital, Havana. Monday's earthquake was unusual for this area of the Caribbean, said Paul Earle, the seismologist at USGS, noting that the quake occurred within a tectonic plate, where earthquakes are usually more scattered and less frequent than when they occur along plate boundaries. An earthquake this strong had not hit within 322 kilometers, or 200 miles, of Monday's quake since 1880, when a 6.0 tremblor hit near San Cristobal, Cuba, said Earle. Authorities have not yet reported any major damage or casualties, but the quake spiked concern in Cuba, where decades of economic crisis have left buildings in severe disrepair. Ongoing widespread blackouts across the region have made communications difficult. So yes, this is yet again another big blow to Cuba. This one of a natural variety, not like the economic siege that is going on more or less from the U.S. and Western countries. But that being said, it is just one of those things where it's you just hate to see bad things happening in such a beautiful place and beautiful people. Period. And obviously my heart goes out to the people who are having to endure yet again more hardship. I'm just praying and rooting for the people of Cuba right now, for sure. I know that if I get any more details on the situation, if they come to light to me, I will definitely come back and talk about that some more. Because once again, I do think too, this has been kind of going around in the news. I feel like I've talked about it maybe once or twice. The situation in Iran is kind of like the only thing that's kind of keeping the Trump admin from like keeping its full focus in Cuba and wanting to like do a regime change like they did in Venezuela. And I wouldn't be surprised if that is something that is like they are chomping at the bit to do. You know, they got Narco Rubio. He's been won some shit like this, and now he's in the most powerful position to make it happen. And, you know, Trump just would love to get the dub of like, yes, we overthrew communism in Cuba. We fixed that issue. Yay, awesome, go us. Like, they would just love that. So yeah, I mean, needless to say, that's neither here nor there. We have an actual natural disaster that we're talking about today, but it just goes without saying because these things bleed and muddle together. You know, when you're already on your knees having to deal with, you know, an economic crisis, and that's a day after day after day issue, and then you have a natural fucking disaster hit. Well, you know, that's just a crisis on another fucking crisis, right? So, you know, definitely want to keep talking about that shit. But yeah, let's go ahead and move on to our next story. A bit lighter, you could say, but definitely getting a lot of, you know, news rounds, news coverage today from the BBC. Xi Jinping lands in North Korea to meet Kim Jong-un in rare visit. Chinese leader Xi Jinping has landed in North Korea in his first official visit since 2019. Xi's visit follows separate meetings with U.S. President Donald Trump and Russian President Vladimir Putin in Beijing. Denuclearization, U.S. relations, and inter-Korean conflict could all be on the agenda when Xi and Kim meet. China's top diplomat Wang Yi traveled to Pyongyang in April, during which Kim expressed a willingness to enhance communication with Beijing. The trip comes as Beijing is trying to assert sway over a strategically vital yet deeply unpredictable partner that has drawn closer to Russia, says our China correspondent. I mean, yes, closer to Russia in a way, but it's like Russia's in your pocket too if you're China. You know, I do think this is a very vibes-based kind of meeting, but it's a big deal. It says something to the fact that Xi said, hey, this is a meeting I gotta go to. I gotta go make this happen. So like, you know, as opposed to like him coming and hosting a bunch of people. I feel like that in and of itself is its own thing and maybe worth thinking about. But I mean, that being said, I know relations with Korea and China are, I don't even know how to say it. Like, I mean, I guess you could say unpredictable in and of itself. Like, they're allies, but then they're also not. It's like a frenemies kind of thing at times. But it serves mutual interests for, you know, North Korea to kind of be a buffer, because if South Korea ever took it over and it all became one thing, from China's perspective, then it's like, well, great. Now there's no gatekeeper, there's no boundary, there's no buffer zone to keep the West, keep the U.S. off of our ass. Like, we want that there. But at the same time, you don't want North Korea like launching missiles all around the region and you know, causing upheaval. You want a sort of balance struck there, right? So I don't know, maybe this is something that Xi is putting a lot of like weight on in a physical sense, like he's showing up, putting his presence out there, you know what I mean? I don't know, he's pushing Xi. But that being said, interesting thing all the same. So if there's any highlights, any, you know, big moments, you know, maybe we'll come back and we'll talk about that. But needless to say, pretty interesting. I won't say cool, but you know, it's interesting. What can I say? I'm looking. But yeah, let's go ahead and move on. We're actually going to enter the Trump verse. Let's see here. Got a couple stories I wanted to close out the episode with, if it will load for me. Here we go. From The Independent. Trump team trying to revoke citizenship of 17 people accused of hiding sex abuse and other offenses from immigration officials. The Justice Department announced Monday that it's seeking to strip away the citizenship of 17 people because they hid past offenses, including child sex abuse, insurance fraud, and stock manipulation, from immigration officials. The effort is part of an unprecedented push by President Donald Trump's administration to exercise the government's denaturalization power after he won re-election in 2024 by campaigning on a pledge to carry out the mass deportation of up to 20 million people from the U.S. It also follows last month's transfer of lawyers from U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services to the Justice Department to help expedite denaturalizations and deportations. Justice Department officials have compiled a short list of 385 citizens targeted for denaturalization, the New York Times reported in April. Between 1990 and 2017, the average of 11 denaturalization cases were brought each year, according to CBS, which first reported on the Justice Department's action on Monday. and only 24 cases were brought during the 4 years of the Joe Biden administration. Let's see. I kind of just want to get to some of the examples that they have here. Among those charged Monday were a Catholic priest from Colombia who sexually groomed a minor parishioner, a woman from Cuba who took part in a $37 million health insurance scam, and a man from Jamaica who conspired in a $54 million stock manipulation scheme. The 17 defendants were all convicted after becoming citizens, but allegedly committed their crimes during the 5 years before they applied for citizenship, or after they applied but before they were naturalized, in violation of a law that requires would-be Americans to prove they're of good moral character. So, I mean, this is one of those things where, you're looking at the top layer here and you go, well, this is a good thing. This is technically a Trump administration dub. You hear these cases, you hear this, yeah, I understand why you're going to go through the process here. This fits, this works. This is where it becomes hard, though, when you've seen the track record of this administration, how Trump has moved in one term and now this term. You know that this is not all they want to do. This is just like just with the deportation shit in general, where like, hey, Trump is going to tell you, this administration is going to tell you, we just want the criminals out of here. We want to get rid of all the people who are doing bad stuff, the rapists and the criminals, murderers, and you're hearing that. But then next thing you know, it's your neighbor who is just a cleaning person. It's someone who works at a fucking grocery store or a restaurant. These are just normal ho-hum people that they are going up through literal trumped up charges to just get them fucking out of here. So that is my fear. That is my concern. That is my fucking worry. But like I said, with these cases, okay, cool. But then just looking at the number in general, I think that's why it's being, reported is like, this man already in this clump is already almost over half the amount of the Biden administration. We're already pushing over the usual average, right? So that's something that is concerning me. It's an alarm to me. But once again, just looking at the top line here, top layer, okay, cool. We'll call that a Trump dub, which is, hey, call it fair and balanced here. What can I say? I do my best. All right, we have one more story that I wanted to cover. Yet again, we are in the Trumpverse. We are talking actually, immigration-related things, business type shit. But yeah, let's go ahead and close out with a CBS story about H-1B1 visas. But you know what that means. We're closing out with our last break. Ooh la la. Ooh. All right. Judge voids Trump's $100,000 fee for new H-1B1 visas. A federal judge on Monday invalidated President Trump's policy imposing a $100,000 fee on new H-1B1 visas for high-skilled foreign workers, finding it unlawful. U.S. District Judge Leo Sorkin ruled in favor of a group of 20 states that challenged the new fee announced by Mr. Trump in September. The judge found that the Trump administration overstepped its authority by imposing a $100,000 tax on H-1B. I think I'm saying it weird each time, but whatever. H-1B applications without authorization from Congress. The substance and application of the $100,000 payment reveal that it is a tax, regardless of what the payment is called, Sorkin wrote in a 42-page decision. The judge, appointed by former President Barack Obama, wrote that there are no statutory powers authorizing the Trump administration to implement a $100,000 tax on H-1B petitions. The Department of Homeland Security called Sorkin's decision blatant judicial activism in a statement and defended the Trump administration's immigration reforms. The recent changes to the H-1B visa program including the increased fee, are intended to address concerns about program integrity and the impact on the U.S. workers, the department said. The policy aims to ensure that employers prioritize hiring U.S. workers, particularly in high-skilled fields. The Trump administration remains committed to safeguarding opportunities for American workers and maintaining the integrity of employment-based visa programs. I do love that they are casing this in like America First fucking jargon, when really it is just to fleece an extra time these companies. But instead, I mean, that is something that's going to happen, but you're now depriving people of job opportunities. And once again, you're saying, well, hey, they're going to go to Americans. No, they're not. Most likely not. They're just going to limp and go without them because they don't want to pay them at those rates. They don't want to actually work with it that way. They want to work the system the way they intended to. And this is when the MAGA movement's kind of fucking them up. It's kind of jamming them up a bit. I do remember, if my memory serves me correctly, this is one of the earlier issues that started to show the divide between like Elon Musk and Donald Trump, where they were like, wait, hey, no, don't do that. Like, I have like my workers for like my companies. They're the high skilled workers. I need them for this. I want to pay them at the rate I want to pay them. And this visa shit is jamming up my fucking bottom line, Donnie. And Donald's like, I don't fucking care about that. That's not my fucking problem. I want to fucking fleece them right. I want to fleece these companies. I want to fleece you right here, right now. Pay the extra or don't. I don't care. So, it's unfortunate that one way or another, the common person is being fucked, whether it's someone who is coming to this place to, to work and make money to, provide for themselves and maybe their family, whatever. Or it's the, American, worker here who's like, pretty much already locked out of the job because it's like, hey, I want to be paid the rate that I should be paid. And, the employers are like, I really don't want to do that. I really don't want to do that with a full staff if I can help it, actually. And so here we go. We have these little, nice little programs. So yeah, I mean, I'm happy to see a Trump loss, though will I say this is a full loss? No, I would not be surprised if this is something that gets fought all the way up to the Supreme Court. So, we'll see what happens. We all know that this administration is petty enough to do that. But yeah, I'm happy to cover any kind of L, temporary or otherwise. But yeah, that'll be it. That'll be the episode for today. If you'd like to help out, support the effort, I do have a Patreon, patreon.com/IsaiahNews. Become a newsie today. Free ways to hit me up, IsaiahNews1@gmail.com. Feel free to follow me or the podcast on any of the socials. Subscribe to the YouTube, follow on TikTok, follow on Spotify, follow on Apple Podcasts, wherever you like to listen. Leave a like, leave a cool comment. Sharing is always caring. 5 stars on Apple Podcast or Spotify are always appreciated. But if you don't do that, you just want to just hang out and listen to me that is A-okay. That's all I'm really looking for. Hopefully we can rinse and repeat and do the same thing again tomorrow. But yeah, hopefully I see you soon for some more good news. I love ya. Bye-bye. Mwah.